Reborn dolls are something that have fascinated me since I first found out about them. I mean, I found them a bit weird when I first found out about them, and granted, I still find them pretty weird, but as I've looked into it more recently, I kind of understand why people gravitate towards them. And like most things, there are a plethora of different reasons why you would want to buy them. You know, some people buy them to help cope with the loss of a child. Some people just are enthusiasts and like collecting dolls. So today I want to look at the Reborning community, and as per usual, we gotta throw a little prop in the back. And this week, you know, I grabbed this guy, a little Reborn doll of my own. I don't know if I need to censor that. I mean, it's a doll. I don't know where the clothes for this thing are. It's just been, like, in our basement for, like, years. Little Reborn doll. This is not my son. This is not Fellatio. So, he'll go here. Yeah, so that's our prop today. This doll. That is not a Reborn doll. You'll see how realistic these things are. That is not a Reborn doll. If I brought that to a Reborn doll convention, because those exist, they would kick me out. They would smite me. They'd probably give me 12 lashes as a punishment for that. So the first account about reborning stuff that showed up on my feed, I was not even looking for it. Instagram just decided, you know, maybe you'd like to see this, was an account called Michelle Reborn. I'm pretty sure that's how I pronounce that name. Michelle. Anyways, she's got 219,000 followers. And this is someone who makes reborn dolls, so a lot of her page is like, oh, it's, you know, shipment day.
Michael, don't leave me here. My house.
And I got so scared from the first video I saw from this account because I didn't know it was Reborn Dolls. I figured it was, but I didn't know what was happening. I'll just show it to you now. So I wasn't ready for that. So I probably I think I literally like, oh, fuck. Nothing prepares me for that, and also I don't know what language. I think it's Spanish, but I'm not sure what language like the caption is in either. And the fear of dolls is already like a pretty common fear, I would say. So after seeing that, I can kind of see why people are pretty turned off by this, because like it's just a strange thing, making babies, but fake babies. I just shouldn't say making babies. That just makes you think of something else. That's gross. That's how you get cooties and AIDS. At a certain point, when you see this, you probably get like a little shaken if you have a fear of dolls, because when they get more realistic, they could also be more uncanny. Some of these are so realistic that they don't even look uncanny, they just look like real babies. And also, I feel like most of us don't look at babies that often, so we don't really know what a super realistic baby looks like. I'm sure if you actually had like a baby with you and you also had a reborn doll, you could see the differences, but these are so realistic that they almost don't fall into the uncanny valley. But the ones that do, they fit pretty snug in there. They're pretty weird, pretty off-putting, I can't lie. Whether you think this is weird or not, this is so impressive. I have no artistic talent, okay? I can't draw, I can't, you know, paint, I can't sculpt, I can't do fucking anything. So the fact that these people can do all this by hand is extremely impressive. Whether it's, you know, whether you find it weird or not, it's an impressive skill. So the next account that makes the Reborn Dolls is Mini Miracles by Mert. And after looking at some videos on this person's account, I totally understand why people have like smashed car windows and shit to like save these babies because they think they're real, because this baby looks more real than some babies I've seen. These people could never have an actual baby, because you know for a fact like they get it confused and it's like, all right, shipment day, let's wrap these little guys up, and then they just take the baby and it's like, God, this voice box in this one's going crazy. And then extend off the mailbox or some shit. You could probably make this baby like do like a fucking whipping nene, bro. And after seeing this video, I was like, man, you probably charge a pretty penny to buy these little babies, right? I looked at their website page, and the price for this baby, this guy here, I think it's named Wes. Dude, Wes, I just got a flashback to last week, bro, with fucking Coach Wes, bro.
Women are emotional and they are inconsistent.
So after looking on their website, little Wes here costs about 1,200 euros. And if you're like me, you don't know what the that is in, you know, your currency. So it's about $2,000 Canadian and about $1,400 American. And the act of making these dolls, or reborning as it's called, is only half of the coin. The other half being the people who buy them. And there's tons of reasons, like I said, why someone would buy a reborn doll. You know, maybe coping with the loss of a child. Maybe someone has fertility issues and they can't have a child. Maybe someone is just a collector and is an enthusiast, or someone wants to roleplay with the dolls. At the end of the day, that's like the main reasons why people do it. And I think the majority of them are people who like collecting and are interested in dolls in general. And as I was doing research for this video, I kind of wanted to find people's opinions on reborn dolls as a thing, because I don't just want to base all this off of my opinion. And I found a subreddit and a Reddit thread on here, and take everything I'm about to say with a hefty grain of salt, because the subreddit is literally r/reborn doll cringe. So I assume most of the posts on here are just going to be people shitting on Reborners. The thread reads, can anyone explain this Reborn Doll thing? I have literally never heard of these until I found this sub by accident. And what in the unholy hell is this shit? Do these people roleplay? Is this a fetish thing? Is it just insane people? Clearly someone coming from like a side of not acceptance, which is fair. Like, I'm not trying to paint this as if I'm like this greater than person who was like, saw this and I was like, you can't, you know, just judge these people, you have to listen to them. Of course I saw this and I was like, what the f***, that's weird as shit. It's pretty taboo. It's not something that happens all the time. It's not something that every single person does. You know, the more you look at it, the more you kind of see that these are kind of just people who are interested in collecting dolls. And there's this one post on here, there's kind of filled with typos, so I'll try to read it like the most legible way I can, but I do believe that people who have strong feelings about dolls should make a self-introspection of why. Dolls are just that, dolls. The artist that makes them look real is an artist, and that's it. What each person does with a piece of art they buy is their own business and no one else's business. And it's that first two couple sentences that I kind of wanted to look at, is that these people are artists. They make art and other people buy art. And that's like the huge majority of these people are just collectors. And I feel like a vocal minority can do like big damage to something's reputation. Because at first, again, I seen the accounts that like roleplay with dolls and I'll look at it later and you're like, oh wow, that's kind of weird. People buy these like roleplay with stuff. Oh, that's strange. But then the more you think about it, it's like 10 accounts. So I'm sure most people who buy them are collectors. The same way people would collect art. And usually for the description of my videos, I go in order of like what I look at for, you know, the links I put, because I put the link to everything. If you ever wanted to see one of these videos or a Reddit thread or whatever I talk about in these videos, they're all in the description. I make sure to put it there in the order I talk about in the video. And I want to put this Reddit thread at the top, because if you ever wanted to explore why people do it, I would look at this Reddit thread, because there's a lot of things in here that I didn't even think about. Like, people are talking about how just like feeling the weight of a baby is kind of nice. You know, like your maternal instincts, you know? Is maternal for men and women? I don't know, your parental instincts, you know, your maternal instincts, it kind of calms you down. Feeling the weight of a baby without having to have a real kid. Like, I doubt these people wake up and 24/7 the whole week, they're like, I gotta treat these babies like they're my real kids. Like, it's probably for times like this. Like, people who say they have, you know, anxiety, seizures, whatever it may be, just to kind of help calm them down. And one example in this Reddit thread that kind of hit home for me was someone talking about how, you know, dementia patients can use a doll to help them feel a bit more calm, feel a bit more, I don't even know, see a bit more clearly. And my grandma had Alzheimer's for the last 14 years of her life, and it was really hard for my whole family to, you know, deal with that. But anytime after my cousin gave birth to her child in 2022, anytime we'd go see her with, you know, the baby, she would always seem a bit happier. And she was a mother of 5 children as well, so I'm sure part of that was from her experience, but she'd always be happier around babies. So I do wonder if, while she was still with us, if we would have gotten her like a doll like this, because a doll like that, it's not that realistic. You can tell that it's a doll. But a doll that's so realistic that you can, you know, confuse it for a baby, especially when it's really young, you might be able to kind of get something out of someone with that. So I do wonder if that would have helped my grandma more, because in those last couple of years, it was hard. And I think while looking at this Reddit thread is a good time to put my main point of this video in here, which is to not judge without pretense. I feel like we all do this too much. I do this too much. I know I do that too much. But when I see something like this, which I would pretty much immediately find strange because I'd never seen anything like this before, and it's a very taboo thing, is to judge it. To be like, wow, that's weird. I wouldn't imagine doing that. But as I look into this more, and I look at more stuff on Reddit, and I read more on the Wikipedia, and I see more stuff on Instagram, I kind of just see how it's like any other regular hobby. And I drew this parallel while writing the script, and I feel like it's a really good example, at least I thought it was a pretty good example, is it reminds me of people who are like really into like simulator games. If you think about someone who loves, you know, I don't know, lawn mowing simulator, something that seems pretty mundane, but they'll buy a rig, they'll get the steering wheel, they'll get like all the nice chair and the gear shifter and shit. They'll buy the nice monitors and they'll get like a perfect desk for it, and they'll get like surround sound speakers and stuff to be really immersed in this kind of stuff. And I draw the parallel of someone getting a room decorated and buying clothes so that, you know, they can wake up and like, you know, role play as a mother or a father or an uncle or whatever the f***, a cousin, a brother, a sister. But it's the same thing where someone who's obsessed with like a racing sim or a truck driving sim or a flight simulator, they're not going to be clocking in for work every single day 8 hours, the same way these people aren't going to pretend to be a parent. So I feel like it's kind of stuff like that where it makes you think, man, maybe these people aren't that weird and they just enjoy a hobby that is kind of niche compared to other stuff. Anyways, I wanted to wait till now to look at the roleplay aspect of this, because that's the aspect most people already knew about, and I didn't want to just go in there where everyone had their already formed opinions. Hopefully I helped to change your mind a little bit. You know, hopefully you're open-minded enough to take in some new information and reform an opinion. Let's talk about Reborn Doll roleplay. Next segment. Put in a little text. Reborn Doll roleplay. So the first account I want to look at for the roleplay aspect of this video, I don't like saying the roleplay aspect of this video. For the Reborn Doll roleplay part of this video, is Rosie Reborn Mom, and her bio reads, I'm Rosie, a reborn mom to 11 reborns, and a real mom to 2 boys and 2 girls. Okay, so this first video is her giving McDonald's to these reborn dolls.
Can I have a sweet and sour sauce?
Just a minute.
Did you get me ranch?
I sure did.
Thank you, Mommy. Thank you, Mommy.
If you can pick what kid you're buying, why would you buy an ugly kid? I'm gonna say the blonde child. That's an ugly baby, man. I mean, maybe this was like one of the dolls she made, and if you did, good job, good for you for like taking the time to make an actual doll. I take it back. But if you bought this from someone for like 1,400 American dollars, hopefully it was on clearance. It's a doll, so I'm not gonna feel that bad for calling the doll ugly. If this was a real live child, of course I wouldn't call it ugly. So one thing about this creator, she will go in and like f***ing rip people apart in the comments. Like any video that gets like hate, she'll just like go into the comments and be like, you know what, go f*** yourself, man. I don't give a f***. It's just funny because at the end of the day, this isn't hurting anybody. So like, yeah, you know what, man? If someone's calling you crazy, go in there and slime them out yourselves. Who cares? But this person says, there are some children in this world who are starving, by the way. And I'm sure people are saying this because this woman, gave 2 Happy Meals to these dolls. But again, if they would have taken the time to just read someone's bio of their account, which is literally one of the first things you'll see on someone's account is their bio, he'll see that she has 4 children. I'm from a family of 3. Dude, if my parents came home with 2 extra Happy Meals and they were like, hey man, you want a Happy Meal? The 3 of us, we'd be able to pound like 100 Happy Meals. Now that either says something about my cholesterol levels or that says something about children. Probably both. Anyways, she replies to this guy saying, and what are you doing to help those children? I serve at a meal ministry and actually help feed the hungry. And furthermore, we're not wasting food. My kids ate the food and voiced the dolls. You tell them. You tell them, Rosie. Get the f*** out of here, dude. This is just a good person who enjoys reborn dolls. Like, if she does volunteer and she's a mother of 4 and she helps the community, that's just a good Samaritan. Like, that's a good person, and you're hating on them because they want to play with dolls. Who gives a flying f*** what you want to do in your own spare time, dude? If you're not hurting anybody and you're not breaking the law, like, who gives a shit? Do what you want in your own spare time, in your own house. That's your God-given right as a human being. Also, I should probably say this now. Don't go hating on any of these people's accounts. Another video you should watch if you're interested about learning more about Reborn Dolls is a Papa Meets video about Reborn Dolls. This next account is The Dolls Aren't Real, or Gina, as she goes by, but her handle is The Dolls Aren't Real. She has about 100,000 followers on Instagram and just, I think, over just under 300,000 subscribers on YouTube. So sometimes when I watch Instagram, the video is muted when I first click on it, so then I have to unmute it so I can hear it. And that happened with this video, so I click on it, I unmute it, and I'll unmute it the same time I unmuted it, so you get like the same initial reaction I did to this video.
Oh, June! What's wrong, sweetie?
I feel sick.
I was like screaming when I first saw that video, dude. I was losing my mind when I first saw that video. June is the definition of an old soul, man.
May we please go to the library today?
Okay, never mind. I thought June was like an old soul, but I think it's just an android. May we go to the library today? My robot body requires literature.
Make you some oatmeal and tea.
This is...
June needs some WD-40, bro. That's a stiff turn, dude. I do wonder though if like she'll like forget the voices of some of her kids sometimes. Like how many dolls does she have? I don't know. She doesn't say how many dolls she has, but like when you have like 11 dolls, are you ever like, it's like, wait, what the fuck? What did Carl sound like again? Hey, Mom. It's like every video, it's like, Mother, I require my sustenance. I don't know if this video will have the same goal I wanted it to have when I'm done editing and I post it, but I feel like what I wanted with this video was to take something that is seen as very taboo, very weird, very like not normal, and kind of show that it is more normal than people assume it is, and not only do that for other people, but to do that for myself. I won't lie, when I first saw this, I was like, yeah, this is fucking weird, and there's still parts of it that I think are a bit strange, but I'm not gonna look at this anymore and be like, oh, these are insane people, or these are people who are only coping with trauma. I can really understand now how it's like people who are collectors, people who are artists who make these, people who are interested in making entertainment. And I think it's that parallel I drew between people who are really into like simulators and build rigs for all that, and this, where they know they're not race car drivers, they know they're not pilots, they know they aren't, you know, whatever, a landscaping company, but they'll still lawn mow for like 3 hours. This person might want to like sit there and read storybooks to her dolls for like 3 hours. But it just helps with stress. It's fun. It's whatever these people want to do in their spare time. So I think with all that being said, it's just to not judge without pretense. I think that's what I want to leave this video with. And although my goal for these videos is always to just make like a funny commentary video, I want to try to like give you something to think about, you know, give you something to reconsider. You know, I try to put at the end of the videos a little thought-provoking segment, or, you know, something to make you feel good about yourself. Because as much as I love making you laugh and, you know, trying to be funny at the best of my abilities, I also just want to help, you know, people be a bit more united. You know, instead of seeing something and be like, that's weird, that's gross, whatever, I don't like it, seeing something and, you know, taking more time to think about it and realize, like, you know what, maybe this isn't as weird as I thought it was. Anyways, with that, I'm gonna go back to playing Hades. I just downloaded it and I've put in like 60 hours in the last week, and I'm not stopping anytime soon. So this was just a mere obstacle between me and continuing to play that game. So until next week, I'll see you later. Bye. Has that doll been looking at me the whole time?